And
No, the
obviously,
concern the Bears is they have a better coach. That's the concern. It starts there.
here we go.
So there's no if. He owns LaFleur. He owned him when he was offensive coordinator with Detroit. And he's owned him with Chicago now. It may change, but I think he's a better coach. And that doesn't mean LaFleur is a bad coach. LaFleur is a good coach. This guy's better.
Sometimes you tell the entire world to not bother you between 12 and 3 during game day, and then at 12 p.m. of game day, you realize the game is at 6 p.m. And now you're mad because what the hell are you supposed to do until 6 p.m. when everyone you know has decided to leave you alone when you could have just joined a fake softball league with games every week between 12 and 3 with Podcast Dad. Shout out Podcast Dad. The starters played in the first drive. Josh Johnson is 40 and has seemingly played on every team in the NFL, and Ben Johnson is a better coach than Matt LaFleur. So, what did we learn about the Bears this week?
I want to get back to this Podcast Dad softball league. Was this a real suggestion?
I think it was a fake softball league based on the fact that I said don't bother me between 12 and 3, and he in his loving way of saying I listen to your podcast every week commented played my fake softball league.
Because Mrs. Podcast Dad is trying to plan a event on a Sunday between 12 and 3.
So it might be real.
And Podcast Dad gave it a thumbs up and is down to go do it and is endangering the rest of our Sunday because he's going along with Mrs. Podcast Dad's plans. So
Oh my God. Well, you have to
be supportive. I get it.
You have to be supportive. Now, does support go both ways? Does support Podcast Dad football watching? Who knows?
I can't comment on that. I just know that I don't necessarily have to be that supportive. I'm once removed. I can. I'm not needed for the event to be a success. Let's put it that way.
Got it. My friend once told me, friend of the podcast, Abel said that the worst thing anyone could do to him is make him do something on a Sunday. So it is quite serious the time carve out that we require on our Sundays.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're just leave me alone for 3 hours. It's not 2.5. You know. All right. Yeah. What did we learn about the Bears this week? I mean, the preseason game wasn't very fun. I mean, starting offense, that was cool to watch them out. They didn't do much. There's still things that need to be worked out, obviously, but it's preseason. Like, they didn't even play in the preseason the first week or last year. Sorry. They didn't even play in the preseason last year, the starters, that is. So I don't think you're really seeing anything. They really just get out of there healthy. That's all you want. The Bears obviously have the major injury to Kobe Bryant that happened in camp. But outside of that, Nefi Sewell, who's Noah Sewell's brother, looks like he's out for some time. Monangai, Burden are a little bit banged up, but nobody thinks that's kind of long term. Kyler Gordon, nobody knows. And if you ask Ben Johnson, he's starting to get annoyed by it. He doesn't want to talk about it either. So, aside from that, they're okay. I just want to get through this Titans game. I don't want to see any starters playing the Titans game, because I don't know if there's a ton of reason necessarily to do it, but there are some battles that kind of need to shape up. But I do think they'll have a good idea about who the starters are before. I don't think anybody's winning or losing a job on that Titans game. So, I think he'll have his starters kind of named. And like the big ones to look out for, like, cornerback is a little bit who's going to play that cornerback too, because Tyree Stevenson's been out. And then you also have left tackle is obviously the big one. I think center's kind of done. I think that's probably Garrett Bradbury to start with. But that left tackle is a little bit more up in the air about who's going to start there. So that's kind of one to watch out for. Running back 3, if you're interested in that sort of thing, is probably another legit competition. Wide receiver 3 is probably legit competition. So some depth competition, except for that starting left tackle spot.
Okay, so I was listening to this podcast called Bears Now with Harrison Graham. So shout out Harrison Graham. Every now and again, his face will show up on my YouTube algorithm. And so he today was talking about three changes and three things that he would like to see happen with the Bears. And so I wanted to maybe run through all of them or some of them with you. And one of them is the left side of the offensive line. And his question slash potential change was, depending on when Ozzy Trapillo may or may not be coming back, is there space to move Joe Thuney to left
Hmm.
tackle temporarily, and then Jordan McFadden to play left guard, which I believe that was kind of the combo during the
Hmm.
Rams playoff game. So
Yep.
do you see that happening? Do you like that happening? Does that seem
I
like
like that idea. I like that idea a lot. And I brought it up actually on Bears on Tap last week
mm,
as well, of like, if none of these guys impress, right? Because Wills and Kieran, this is after we just seen Wills and Kieran go when I brought this up. And neither of them look like viable options. I think Kieran's out. I don't think he's even going to make the team. And Benedict was not a great option. Braxton wasn't very good, but he was probably the most consistent out of everybody there. Wills, they could probably talk themselves into as well. But I like if you think Ozzy is close or will be back by week 4 or something, I would do the Joe Tooney plan. If Ozzy's going to miss the entire season, I would rather have Tooney at left guard for the entire season and you figure out a way to make it work with Braxton because that's Tooney's like a band-aid and you don't have to like scheme a lot differently, but you want your best player playing his best position for the long haul.
mm.
So I would say if it's like if you have faith that Ozzy's going to be back soon, I would do Tooney as more temporary. But if he's going to be out, then I would say, okay, let's roll with Braxton and let's design this offense to work around that kind of weakness or, deficiency or whatever as part of our game plan each and every week.
Yeah, it does seem like that's going to be an issue sort of throughout the whole season is the left tackle space. And I guess if Ozzy
Yeah.
Trapilla comes back, he's coming back from a pretty significant injury, so that leads it to its own questions. But it does seem like yeah, it's going to be a problem. Now, I guess my question is, okay, so Jordan McFadden, they would put in at left guard. This man says that he thinks if you're talking about like at the start of the season, you want to just put your best five people out there. McFadden would maybe be your like number five on the roster until you switch Tooney to the left. Does McFadden not is he not a movable to the outside kind of person? Is that like why
No.
can't I see?
Yeah. He's a guard. I don't think they have the tackles they have, they've tried them all at left tackle right now.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how it is. And they know what they have in Tooney, so there's no reason to put him out there. So if it's like they did in a playoff game, right? So they obviously trust him.
Yeah.
But I don't think long term you want your best offensive lineman playing out of position the entire season. You'd rather
Yeah.
put somebody else there and then like figure it out.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be kind of a problem all year. Interesting. Okay. So the other things that he brought up,
Hopefully not.
yeah, hopefully not. At least the thing we'll be curious about how it pans out.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing, it was kind of about the secondary. So there's been a lot of like um, moving parts with Kobe Bryant kind of being injured, and then I think is it Xavier Woods that they signed. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this kind of involves Malik Muhammad, who's been playing at the nickel spot with Tyreek Stevenson being injured or day to day, putting Malik Muhammad at the um like outside corner spot, and then Cam Lewis being in the
Yeah.
nickel. So like just kind of shifting people around. So how do you feel
At
about
nickel.
people being
Yeah. I think that's reasonable, honestly. Because you brought in a rookie. It's hard enough to make that transition for like a rookie just to be the starting cornerback. Now you're asking him to play a position he hasn't really played a lot in college. So that's going to be tough.
yeah,
Now you can put Cam Lewis in the nickel. He does have some experience playing the nickel. And as long as Woods isn't banged up, that's why that Woods signing was so important because Woods is like your Kevin Byard back there. He's like this veteran safety, not super athletic anymore, but pretty savvy. He's going to be fine. Not great, maybe not even solid, but fine. That allows you to, because Cam Lewis can also play safety, but he can also play nickel. So I would probably lean towards that as well. If Stevenson can't go, but if Stevenson can go, um, I think that you then try Muhammad at nickel, which is what I think the Bears are anticipating happen because they have played him quite a bit at nickel here.
Yeah.
And so that leads me to believe they don't believe Stevenson's injury is super serious, and they
Hmm.
kind of have him penciled in as that CB2. Now you still got Terrell Smith, who missed all of last year with an ACL, but I haven't really heard much buzz out of him in camp. So I don't know if he's a contender to make the team or to vie for a spot, but he's there as well. But I would not if Stevenson is no go, then I think that's your only option is to put Muhammad outside and Cam Lewis then the goal.
Yeah. How does that like change? Do you have a sense on how that changes like the defensive schematic, like the defensive scheme with him at nickel versus the outside corner? Is it kind of just without Kyler Gordon, everything is just kind of a little without
Oh
Kyler Gordon
God.
and
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant,
yeah.
everything's a little
It's
flimsy.
gonna be not great, honestly, because you can scheme you can scheme against that so easily. Jalen Johnson, even if he's like true corner one Jalen Johnson, you can still put two or three receivers on the other side of the field, and now you've got a rookie and Cam Lewis that are like gonna figure this out together. It's not gonna be great for the Bears. They're gonna have to score a lot of points this year.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you feel seeing the like first team out there? One, I didn't expect them to come out. I started wondering, did they not look good in practice? I mean, it seems like what I read report wise, it was kind of like they had moments, bad moments. It was all kind of everything.
Yeah, I don't think it was that impressive. Honestly, I was out of town and I had it kind of going on in the background.
Yeah.
But it didn't look very impressive. From what I saw. Braxton, our starting left tackle, possibly had like a bad holding penalty, and we
Yeah.
weren't able to overcome that. Caleb had some bad misses. I don't know. It just didn't look like, oh yeah, these guys are ready to go. But they don't have to be ready to go, So it's not like it's the end of the world. It's just like it wasn't really entertaining and didn't
Yeah.
keep my attention, um, you know, for what they were trying to do out there.
Yeah, Roshan, who was kind of absent last year for the most part. I mean, he was doing some good
Yeah.
stuff, played a lot. It was nice to see him out there. I
Yeah.
know that's, more of a, but yeah, I mean, it did seem like there was a couple misses here or there. It did seem like they were kind of moving with the runs was getting them like moving forward. Caleb's first throw was a nice little run to the left to like a little or nice little toss to Adunze. So
Yeah. I
that's a
think
nice,
I think they're going to have a pretty good running back three evaluation. Salvan Ahmed he's got some juice. Like you watch him play, he's like, oh, this guy can move. He can boogie. He's got familiar with Eric Studesville, who's the new running back coach for the Bears because Bieniemy took the offensive coordinator job in Kansas City, and Ahmed was in Miami last year with him. So they've got some familiarity. You can tell he's got juice. I don't know how much Salvin Ahmed plays special teams, but Roshan
mm,
Johnson was a pretty core special teamer for the Bears last year. So he'll see the field if he makes that 53. He'll be active on game days. He'll he'll see the field on special teams. I don't know about Ahmed. I'll have to look that up if he's a viable special teams player, but Roshan acquitted himself fine. He's not, blowing the doors off of anything, but he's been pretty solid. And I know he's been working back from injury. I do think whoever you see play a lot in the Titans game is not really going to make the team from that running back spot. Roshan played
yeah.
a lot in the Bengals game. I don't know if that means he's like they want to like evaluate him more, or if they're like, oh, you're a sacrificial lamb, for the
Mm.
preseason. If he plays in the Titans game, then he's definitely the sacrificial lamb, I think. If he doesn't play in the Titans game, then I feel like, oh, he's got a pretty good chance to make this roster.
What a mind effort. You're like in an NFL game, you're like hyped up, but it's like actually that's not a good thing. You want to
It's
be
not,
chilling on the
yeah, they
bench.
don't want their important players to get injured.
Yeah. That's like before we started, you're like, it's a preseason, it's kind of whatever. And that's sort of how it feels. It's like I just want to see this get started. We kind of basically know.
But it's so important for those guys. They need
Yeah, no, for
every
sure.
game,
Yeah.
every rep. Because even if Roshan knows that's what's happening in the back of his head while he's out there in like a meaningless fourth quarter preseason game, tape is tape, man. tape is tape. You always want to put good tape out there because the Bears might cut you, but Ashton Jeanty just got hurt, right? I'm not saying that they're going to replace him with Ashton Jeanty. I'm just giving you an example of like people get hurt all the time in camps. There's
Yeah.
players out there. You put out good tape, somebody's going to look at it and be like, let's take a chance on this guy because he looked fine in his preseason game and he plays special teams, right? Like he can help our team quite a bit. So you always want to put good tape out there and some of these guys, if they don't feel like they're going to make it, maybe they're stoked, rather than just being, oh, you're going to put me on a practice squad and I'm not going to get to play this last game. Like, yeah, give me a shot. Let me audition for another role on another team.
Yeah. No, that is kind of dope. That is cool to think about. It's almost like, yeah, it's like the a lot of the preseason is like obviously it's for the fans and all that shit, but it's so much of it is just to get your name out there for other teams. And I wonder how they coach that, which, whatever. But I wonder how like our coaches are like talking to them like, yo, dude, like you might not be here, but you could be somewhere. Like we know you're good. You might just not fit in what we're looking for. Are there yeah, I mean that's I yeah, like I wonder what they're looking to see at left tackle to just make a decision. And maybe it's like we'll just make a decision when we make a decision, but like I
I
can't
think it's consistency more
mm,
than anything. I think some of these guys have good reps, and then some of them have brain farts,
mm.
where they'll like run into Thuney or like, get bull rush pushed backwards, collapse the pocket. It's just consistency.
Yeah, yeah. Before we get out of here, that clip from earlier, that was from the Milwaukee ES, that panicky man, that panicky Wisconsin man was from
Yeah, yeah.
Milwaukee ESPN.
ESPN Milwaukee, yeah. I thought it was a funny clip. We were talking about what clip we wanted to use today. Talking about Ben Johnson's better than our coach. So that's pretty funny to listen to, which never really happens in the history of the Bears. So
No.
um I think Ben Johnson knows what he wants, knows what he's doing. He's hard on these guys. We talked about a lot of that last week too, like just his coaching style and as long as Caleb's bought in, I think that like that really helps things. So let's see, man. Week 1 can't get here soon enough.
I was watching his post-game press conference and he's like people are like asking questions and he's like, "Well, I've already talked about this," and he'll answer and he'll say like, "Well, I gotta watch a tape. I gotta watch a tape. I gotta watch a tape." And then something I'm like,
Hmm.
"God, like I'm watching it being like I would be so fucking scared to ask this man a question, dude, because it's like it's like I better ask the right ass question." And he's not being rude. It's just like his energy is like a lot like it's unsettling. It's good. I like it.
No.
It's like it's really fucking intense, man.
Yeah, it's that guy's just dialed in. It's just dialed in.
Yeah. Okay,
I'd
so
be
we
terrified to be in a film room with him, to be
yeah,
honest.
I know that's you fuck up. Okay, so one more game. We're talking about battles. If you're playing in that game, you're probably going to be cut from the team. What are some things that we're kind of like, what are your, as a person who's cleared your schedule? I think the game's at 5 p.m. this coming week, on Saturday, which I think, yeah, cleared 5 to 8. But like, what are you looking for? How do you stay as a fan engaged in that game?
I just like
Anticipate.
to see the players do well,
Yeah.
like I just kind of like root for like the rookies. You might see a lot of run from them. I don't think you're going to see Tiedemann. You might see Muhammad. You're definitely going to see Vandenberg. You'll definitely see Logan Jones. You'll definitely see Sam Roush in there. So you'll get to see some rookies. I kind of look for that. Just also, I don't think Bajan's going to play because he had a hamstring injury. He didn't play last week, and he's
Yeah.
definitely QB two. So it's going to be Case Keenum and Miller Moss. So interested to see how those guys do at QB. I don't know. I just like to see these players because you read about them, and you want to see like how are they performing, how are they doing. So I'll still watch the whole thing if I can.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's been just fun watching Case Keenum just kind of like slice and dice a little bit, like just because he's like, especially in
Yeah,
the
he's a
first game too.
veteran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like he's fucking up these like third string back guys. Like, yeah, dude, I've done this before. It's awesome. Okay. Where can people hear you, listen to you, smell you, breathe you, and all of the things?
Yeah. At ontapsportsnet.com. You can find me at Bears on Tap. We'll probably do another pod this week. I think I just put some suggestions on topics in our group chat. Maybe we'll do some stuff like who's a player, because cut day is something else to look out for. Cut day is Sunday, the 30th. And so that's when they have to trim that roster down to
Mm,
53. So it's like, who do you think is going to get cut that you want to see on the team, or who do you think is going to make the team that you think should get cut? Just play some like what if scenarios. So look out for that. That'll be fun. And then I post all that stuff at X, at smpatel06.
Amazing. I have two shows for sure happening in
Mm-hmm.
September. Sunday, September 6th, Dr. Fix Me, which is an improvised talk show at the Lincoln Lodge. That's at 6 p.m. September 6th. And then September 8th with my improv team Slugs, which is at the Bughouse Theater at 7:30. So September 6th at 6, September 8th at 7:30. Come through if you're in the city. If you don't remember that stuff, hit me up. Email us at bearsintheneighborhood@gmail.com, and we will tell you all about all the shows that I'm up
Or
to.
this is recorded. Just hit rewind and listen
Hit,
to it again.
yeah, go back 10 seconds.
Go back 10 seconds.
For Samir Patel, I'm Chirag Rathod. We are the Bears in the Neighborhood, your weekly insight into the Chicago Bears in under 30 minutes, and we will catch you all next week.
Green Bay sucks.